Hi, my name is Richard Tayson, and the purpose of this short video is to welcome you to the Poetry and the Creative Process class that you're registered for. The class is asynchronous, 100% asynchronous, and meets for 15 weeks. Here, I'll give you an overview of what the class is about and why I'm qualified to teach it. In the second video, I'll walk you through Canvas and show you some important navigational strategies designed to help you get the most out of the online experience. After you watch this video, click over to Module 1 Start Week and watch the walkthrough video, which will end with instructions on how to proceed to the discussions during the Start Week. I created this course because I happen not to be enamored with the idea of specialization. I think that creativity is best nurtured when one develops skills in multiple arts. I've always been interested in many arts: poetry, nonfiction, music, dance, film studies, and for short stints as an undergraduate, theater and short fiction. Hybrid forms fascinate me. This course was born out of the idea that the hybrid has value. I love when prose erupts from poetry, for instance, and I'm really interested in how all the arts funnel through poetry. That's the idea of this class. Image, music, movement, acting, fashion may all be a part of poetry. I'm taken by the idea that we can write poems about the other arts, and we can write poems in which the other arts are presented in our technical use of language. For instance, I can work with musical dissonance in the sounds of language so as to affect a sort of tension or strife in a particular event that I'm writing about in a poem, such as, let's say, a car crash. If I become interested in the idea of dissonant language, I can go find poets who work consciously with it and engage with my own exploration of the topic of dissonance. I can do that with many subjects we'll be discussing throughout the duration of the class. In the class, everyone will be asked to write poems about or influenced by some of the other arts: music, cinematography, acting, fashion. Myth and dream are part of this course as well, since they lead us in the unconscious worlds that feed all creativity. You'll be asked to keep a daily journal in which you write down your dreams, which I think of as my night mind, and to jot down 6 things you see during the day, my day mind. More about the journal in the assignments video, which you'll also find in the Start Week module of the class. Each of you will be placed in 2 small groups. One of the groups will be for discussing and workshopping your own new poems, and the other group will be a book club group in which you decide on together and read and discuss one single book about creativity. More about both of those in the assignments group. Why am I qualified to teach this class? Well, number one, I was really into different arts as a kid. Music was a big part of my life, and I learned how to play various instruments and sing, and went to college for music at first, but found myself more involved with the music of language than with the music of instrumentation. I ended up with a BA in English and Dance, and that was from Colorado State University. And then I went on to get a master's degree in creative writing at New York University, wrote a couple of books of poems and a memoir, and then went on and earned a PhD from the Graduate Center at CUNY. So I've studied poetry with great people: Galway Kinnell and Sharon Olds and Stanley Plumley, and some of their lessons will seep from me into your consciousness through the discussions that I'll lead in the class. I've just completed a second book of nonfiction, which is about 21 female singers. And as I wrote my dissertation about the singer slash performer slash crazy woman, Patti Smith, and her affiliation with William Blake. And I really had a great time writing that. It was phenomenal. So I'm interested in the imbrication of these different kinds of arts. Like both of them are interested in painting as well as the writing of poems and singing, it turns out, because Blake was a singer too. So I'm interested in how these things overlap and how they can reach into different parts of our imaginations and pull different expressions out of us. So before you go on to look at the walkthrough video, after this video ends, please do the following. So I'm suggesting to you to try this out for just 15 minutes following this video right here. So just write down your schedule for the semester. And I don't mean what your class schedule is, because you've already got that written down somewhere. But I mean your schedule for your whole life. So to put it on one sheet of paper, everything you need to do each week, assuming that the weeks are similar, including sleep and work and online time and when you'll write your assignments, and when you'll spend time in Canvas responding to other people's assignments. And the reason for this is because everything usually takes longer than we expect. So good benchmarks to write onto your weekly schedule would be to spend about 4 hours writing your poems per week, about 2 hours reading, and about 3 responding to the work in Canvas. It's often best to do your writing in 2 or 3 increments instead of 4 hours all at once. To do it in, let's say, an hour and a half each time. It's better to do that because my imagination comes back to my subject and I start realizing, having epiphanies, and start recognizing that I need to, oh yeah, this goes over there, and the color green is better here than, this mauve that I've got going, or whatever, right? A lot of these things happen as I revisit the work that I'm doing at the moment. And it's often best to return to it. Ideas accrue and epiphanies happen, but they usually take time. And so the reason for writing out your schedule is to build in a little bit of time for that to happen, if at all possible. So head over to the walkthrough video next, where I'll explain not only best practices for navigating Canvas, but also what to do for the remainder of the start week. I'm happy that you're here in the class. Welcome, and I will see you soon.